do you know what Mike's doing this weekend? I'm like, no, what's Mike doing this weekend? And she's like, he's going on some Bigfoot expedition thing. And this was way back in the early Finding Bigfoot days. But I already knew that you could pay to go on these expeditions. So I knew exactly what she meant the first. So I immediately called him, like, Mike, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing this weekend? He's like, oh, well, you know, he was engaged back then. And so he tells me he had bought 2 tickets a year previous. And, but, you know, things didn't work out. They split up. So now he just had this extra ticket. I'm like, dude, Mike, what the fuck? I was like, why didn't you tell anybody you're going to go on this trip? And he goes, well, I was afraid people would think it was weird. I'm like, it is weird. That doesn't mean it's not cool, though. And he gets all excited. He goes, do you want to go with me? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to go with you. And it was with the BFRO up in Torreya. You know, we were in Tampa at the time.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm thinking, dude, I'm going to go on this Bigfoot, like, trip with all these people. It's going to be the best people watching ever. They're going to be, like, the weirdest people I've ever met in my entire life. It's going to be hilarious the entire time. I couldn't have been more wrong. It was firefighters, it was nurses, there were biologists there. I was the weirdo there. Like, I wasn't expecting that, you know. I mean, they were really normal people that everybody just, maybe they'd had experience or they believed or whatever, and it was really fun. I mean, I could see how we got hooked. It was really fun. I didn't even own a tent back then. We were sharing a tent. We had this big, 9x11.
We were sharing.
We were sharing a tent. I didn't know how to put a tarp up or anything back then.
You can edit this stuff later.
I remember, yeah.
The beauty of editing.
I was trying to rig up these ropes to set up a tarp, and it was terrible. And I remember somebody walked over and go, "What are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Dude, putting up a tarp, obviously." And I remember the look on his face, and I remember thinking, like, I'm doing this wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. But so it was in, like, the main little, like, group camp area is what they had, because there was probably, Mike, what do you think, 25, 30 people there?
60.
60. Was there 60? There was a lot of people
There's
there.
a shit ton.
Yeah.
No,
By the Gregory
it was
house?
an old group campsite.
Oh,
Yeah.
the other one. I know.
The old
exactly.
one.
Yeah, okay.
Before the tornado came through.
Oh, I got you.
Or the hurricane.
The
came
hurricanes,
through.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we camped pretty close to, like, the edge of the ridge, you know, to kind of be away from people or whatever. And honestly, they were really cool and nice. One of my favorite things from that weekend wasn't really super Bigfoot related. So they had, like, all the cool stuff, you know, like the listening stuff. They had thermals, and they had night vision and all this stuff. And we went out, like, the first night and did stuff. And then the second night, a couple new people had shown up and went out for our night hike, and we're using the thermal, you know, and you see, like, you know, the raccoons and stuff like that. And I see a deer off in the distance. So I'm showing them the people that just showed up. I was like, oh, look at that deer, you know. It's like, look, it's clearly only like 100 yards away from us. That's pretty cool, and, you know, whatever. And we're looking, and, you know, because it was feeding, and then it lifted its head up, and it totally was not a deer. It was a bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it went from, like, oh, I think that's a deer to, nope, that's a bear. And that night, I don't remember, you have to say if we heard howls or knocks. I don't remember what it was, but it was either howls or knocks coming from this side of the ridge and replies coming from the other side. What was it, howls or knocks?
Knocks.
Knocks, okay.
Yeah.
So I get all excited because I'm brand new to watching the show. So I just think, you know, we're just going to see one. That's just what happens, right? And I mean, I saw In Search Of when I was, you know, young in the 80s. Like, you go out in the woods, you see a Bigfoot. That's what happens. Something gets thrown into our camp. That's what happened next, right?
We had
the rocks thrown into our camp.
One fist-sized rock.
Yeah, from, like, below the ridge up, and you could hear it coming through the trees, and landed. And I am ecstatic. I'm so happy. He's freaked out, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw back at it. You know, I want him to come out so I can see him, and he's like, "Don't! You're gonna make him mad." And I'm like, "So what? You know, like, that's what we're here for. We want to see him." So I throw stuff, and he gets mad at me. And again, we're sharing a tent. So I'm, like, looking into the darkness, and I'm not seeing anything because I'm looking into the darkness. But I hear Mike behind me, all this rustling, and I turn around, and he's got, like, his like, blankets and his pillow and shit. He's going to go sleep in the car. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, if Bigfoot's real, you don't think he can break a window and pull you out? Plus, I don't want to sleep alone now. Now I'm scared. How about that? You know?
We had the rocks thrown at us. We had a couple rocks thrown at us. and then you threw the rock back at
Yeah.
it, and then the big rock came
The boulder.
That's right.
and
Yeah.
landed
Yeah,
down. The
that's right.
laptop-sized boulder
Yeah.
came and landed 5 feet away from us.
God, I remember how oddly happy I would be for almost getting hit by a giant rock. You know? No one ever said I was smart. So.
And that was it for me. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think what you take back from that night is we went into this expedition and we thought it was just gonna be a weekend hanging with some crazy people.
Yeah.
You know? And we left that expedition knowing that something's capable of throwing rocks at us. That's crazy.
Nolan Ryan couldn't have done what we did, you know, what happened to us.